Yo guys, what's up? Rajdeep here, and finally the day is here that we are playing Formula 1 2020. This is the Schumacher edition, hence we got an early access that is 72 hours earlier than the regular edition. Today we'll be starting off with the My Team career mode that's absolutely new to F1 2020. I've actually made notes about what my team I want to call my team and what exactly do I go for in the engine options and everything.
Welcome to my team. Here, you'll experience the world of Formula One not only as a driver, but as the owner of a brand new F1 team. First things first, let's choose your character.
So I'll be choosing the character that they make us create when we actually start the game for the first time. Let's do that. Yes.
Now, let's set up some of the key details of your new team.
Let's go ahead with that.
We'll start with an easy one. What name would you like to give the team?
I've actually given this a lot of thought and I've come up with the name Primal Racing for my first My Team career mode. Yeah.
Now, some kind of income stream is critical, so we need to sign a primary sponsor. Our primary sponsor will pay a signing bonus to the team up front. This is vital to cover the early investments we need to make. They will also provide valuable weekly income for us. Each sponsor has a goal that they want the team to achieve. If we hit that goal, the sponsor will pay us an additional goal bonus.
I'm just gonna dumb it down for myself. I'm gonna pick up the sponsor with the highest goal bonus. The weekly income, we'll see that later on. The difference between weekly income, I think, it will be around 22k. So let's go for the one with the highest, which is Pacifico. That.
Now we've got a budget to work with. Our car won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit. So let's sign a power unit supplier now. We need both performance and durability from our power unit, but we also need to balance the books. We're going to have a lot of other areas to invest our cash into.
Now comes the first interesting bit. Which engine supplier do I go for? I obviously want to go for, everybody wants to go for Ferrari, but then I think that will impact on the next aspect. So I will pick up Mercedes over here because it's a good balance between performance and durability. You get 14 points more durability than Renault, which is a huge plus. Performance is just 2 points above, so that is negligible, but the durability is a huge factor. So now coming to the last aspect, which is my teammate. So I think I will be going for Jack Aitken.
Looks like we can afford this power unit supplier and teammate. Go ahead and confirm if you're happy.
Just that hint of red and looks good. That's it. We are good to go. Yes, we'll be doing a standard 22 race season. Coming to the session now, I have given this some thought as well. So what we'll be wanting is short practice. There's no option to choose anything else over there, but we'll be doing a full qualifying season now. So I will not be showing you the practice session because let's face it, that gets boring, and the practice session on this game is completely unchanged from the last game, except for the ERS program, which we will be doing a lot because we need to get used to the new ERS setting. But apart from that, there's nothing new in practice, so we'll just go on to qualifying and then head on to the race. Now, apart from that, formation lap will be on and AI driver level will be set to 100, which I think is a good starting point for this game. Let's see the gameplay settings. Flashbacks will be off, park for me rules on, vehicle damage can stay at full, safety car is on, strict corner cutting, manual restarts, driver moves, I cannot change that, that will be on. Coming to assist that I'll be using for the season, I won't be using any brake assist. I will however use ABS, and I will use racing line for the corners to judge my braking point. I will not be using ERS, DRS or fuel assist or even pit assist for that matter. Now if you can see on the right side that there is two styles of racing. You could use a standard, which is the controls that we are used to seeing in F1 games, and a casual bar where it's just like any other arcade game. There is steering assist, braking assist is default high, you auto reset to the track. But anyways, I think that's enough for us, and we will now go on to starting our My Team career mode. Wow, he looks a bit weird though.
We're live in 5, 4, 3.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the HQ of Formula One's newest team. We've been invited backstage to gain an exclusive insight into what could be one of the most exciting entries in the sport for many years. Now, we've seen a number of new teams enter the sport over the last decade, amongst their number Manor, Caterham, HRT, and of course Haas. And while some have proved to be successful, others have morphed into different teams, and some have disappeared completely. What marks this team out, though, as being something different is that its owner is also its driver. Now, there's a rich history of that in Formula One too. Sir Jack Brabham, John Surtees, Graham Hill, and Bruce McLaren all drove their own cars in the sport, but it has become increasingly rare in recent years. What's very special about this team, though, is that while the team itself is new to Formula One, so too is its driver and owner.
Whatever happens this season, you've already made the history books. Tell me, do you feel up to the mammoth task of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
Now things get interesting. So you have to look at this from a very managerial sort of way. So I am going to say something that shows that I am a team player. I'm not just the boss who's going to rule everybody around. So I'm just going to select this option which says that I won't lie, it's been a lot of work and there's even more to come. But I wouldn't have taken on the task if I didn't believe in myself and my team. Although I do want to go for the option at the bottom, which just says isn't it just about me? But come on, you are driving your own Formula One car. You're the team owner and you're driving the car, so it is kind of about me. So it's a given. So I'm just gonna go with this option.
Every team needs two drivers, but what was it that drew you to your teammates?
Again, a difficult question, but it's the answer I want is to be very straightforward. No beating around the bush. Their skill set really suits our team.
No one aims to finish bottom of the table. Who's the team you're aiming to be?
Okay, I think this will be actually allocating the amount of, let's say, the level of our team. If I select Williams, we'll be competing with Williams, so my car will be similar to something at the level of Williams. Similarly, it goes on for other teams as well. So I think I will be going for AlphaTauri over here because it's a new name, and I don't know how Formula One 2020 has rated them, so I'll be choosing them as my direct rival.
How are you expecting the car to feel out on track?
Okay, I think these are four different aspects. Like chassis, there is sim data, there is traction, and responsiveness, basically aero. So let's say that we are focusing on traction out of corners, and my aero department has noticed
The
that.
other teams now have years of experience, both on and off the track. How are you planning to catch up to them?
I think that we will go for the ERS system over here, which will be noticed, I'm sure, by our power unit department. There it is.
Overtaking is a key part of this sport. How have you ensured that your car can take advantage of each opportunity that comes your way?
There is aero being a light car, and there is power, raw power on the left. But our powertrain department has already noticed us speaking about them, so we will go for the lighter car one. And chassis department.
And finally, which of your new departments are you most proud of?
I think durability is the only one left from the older games, is what I remember. So let's give them a heads up as well. There it is.
Well, that's about all we've got time for here. We will see how this fledgling team fares in its first Grand Prix.
Okay, great, thank you. That's a wrap.
The logo just looks brilliant. Maybe should have gone for the black, would have looked good in contrast with the white background over there. Let's have a look. Oh wow, that looks amazing. Chassis. Oh nice. You can even shut down facility or change the facility by just going to the next. Oh, that's is that me? Yep, seems like that is me. Practicing over there. There is loads of things that we can do over here, including fitness center analysis suit. We will be doing that in the future, of course. Let's see what else. The powertrain. That's our engine. Durability and marketing. A sole person in marketing. Okay, that's all our departments. The classic R&D chart from what we had in earlier F1 games as well. You can see that we are just below AlphaTauri, and I think on level actually there's very less separating AlphaTauri, us, and Alfa Romeo. So it's going to be a good competition in the midfield, the lower out of the midfield when we start off. We've been given 3 powertrain upgrades, 2 aerodynamic upgrades, 3 durability, and 2 chassis because I think we gave importance to all the departments when we were answering the questions. So it's good that we are there in departments of all the in terms of all the departments, but as you can see in the bottom that aero is lacking, so we will be developing that first before we hit the powertrain and chassis departments. And so let's schedule or assign some activities. We can autofill activities as well, but maybe later on when we get bored, right? So right now it's pretty exciting, so I do want to do it. Let's pick up a 7-day program, and these are the only 2 programs that are there. Yeah, of course, I want to increase my aero department's morale because aero and chassis because I will be doing those upgrades later on after my first round. So we will do that and head on to the car reveal. Whoa, made the right choice color-wise. Oh damn. The logo looks good as well. So I think now it's time for us to head to qualifying 1 at the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are then, qualifying 1 at the Australian Grand Prix. Something that was pretty ominous was that Crofty did not actually introduce us to the qualifying session, which he did in F1 2019. I don't know what's that all about, but let's head on to qualifying and see what we can do. So my fastest lap was a 186, as Jeff just said. Now I think realistically we are not going to reach Q3. That is way too optimistic at this point. So what I was thinking is that I take my second run on the second set of softs actually, because then I can have just one good run in Q2 at the end of Q2 to qualify as high up as possible. So I plan not to use the mediums because I would anyways be able to start on the medium since I wouldn't be in the top 10. So let's see how that pans out as I go for my second flying lap in the qualifying 1. So so we just make it to qualifying 2 by literally the skin of our ass. We are in P15. We just make it, and we improved on our best time by 2 tenths, but uh, on the other side we actually sacrificed another set of tires, so there's no way that we are actually getting out of Q2. So the strategy over here will be that I'll be just going out for one run at the end of Q2 and just put in my best time and try to set a time that can give me as high as a position as is possible. Because the P10 or above is out of the question. So I'm hoping for a P11, P12, but to be realistic, I think a P13, 14 is what is on the cards. So let's see what we can do in Q2. So that's it then. And by Q2, the end of Q2, we get a P13, and our teammate is P16. So what they've done is, since there are 22 cars on the grid, on the first qualifying and the second qualifying, six cars get eliminated in each qualifying. So technically in this qualifying there was a battle till P16, and the bottom 6 cars get eliminated, and the battle for the top 10 goes on to Q3, which we will not be a part of.
It's finally time once again to begin what promises to be another thrilling season of Formula One action. Pre-season times, subject of so much discussion in recent weeks, mean nothing now, as the cars line up to battle it out for points once again. So let's get this season underway. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Raback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
It's hard to imagine how a small operation like that could survive in the ruthless world of Formula One, and yet here they are, first ever race looking surprisingly strong. But there are no points for qualifying. Let's see how they fare in the Grand Prix proper.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris and Esteban Ocon, Stroll, Perez, the Professor and Magnussen, Raikkonen, Aitken, Daniel Kvyat and Antonio Giovinazzi, Gasly, Grosjean, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So then, it is finally time for the Primal Racing to get its first race start in Formula 1. I'm going to change the strategy. We are going to go for the medium tires on the first stint. We'll be going it for 8 laps, and then we'll switch to the soft tires, on which will be for 6 laps. Okay, this will be for 8 and this will be for 7 laps. It's a 15 lap race around Australia on the Melbourne circuit. Let's see what we can do.
We want to pit this lap, so push now. Okay, some information on Magnussen. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car. We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon. Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.